theyeshiva.net.
I heard from Rabbi Shimon Russell, he's a famous therapist. So he was describing once, he said this in public, so one of his daughters was extremely, extremely challenging. And he went to visit her in Israel. And they took up a road trip. And the way she was dressed, and the way she was talking, and the way she was behaving was very, very painful for him. And the entire journey, he was just extremely, extremely in pain. And, there was a lot of inner guilt and blame and shame, mostly pain, and also anger with what she did to him and his wife and the family. These things are not easy. And the trip was so painful, he said at some point he just needed a break from her. I guess what was happening in the car, I don't know exactly what was happening, but he needed a break. So he stopped the car, I guess kavayachal for gas or whatever, bathroom break, whatever, just to, in Hebrew you say, lelech lehit avrer, to get some air, some separateness, not to choke. And he said he got out of the car. And it was like, Israel has these places, like, a lot of nature, open landscapes and forests. It was one of these places, a lot of nature. And he walked into the wilderness a little bit. And he just broke down sobbing, and he turned to God and he said, like, I can't handle this anymore. Like, Rabbeinu Shalom, what do you want from me? I cannot handle this anymore. I cannot. I'm a human. I have medidav hagbala, I have a structure. I can't. I'm not infinite. I'm not an angel. She's cracking. She's destroying me. She's literally destroying me. And he said, as he broke down, which is what often happens, when you break down, you become a keli. As the ego breaks, you actually open up. And he said, and he had this epiphany. And the epiphany was, wow, this is an incredible opportunity. And the words he says is that what he experienced at that moment, a flow, the epiphany was, my job is to demonstrate to my daughter that my love is more powerful than her defiance. My love will always be more powerful than your defiance. My love, therefore, will not be dependent on how non-defiant you are, because that means your defiance is stronger than my love. Because your defiance will destroy my love. It's going to be the other way. My love will always be stronger than your defiance, which of course means that the love will destroy the defiance won't destroy the love. And he says, so the more defiant my girl is, the more I have an opportunity to tune in to a much deeper love. And then he says, wow, what a gift I was just given. Who gets this gift? Nobody has this gift. Everybody has the gift of, you're not defiant. Of course I love you. I have a gift of actually showing her how much I love her. Really showing her how much I love her, because it doesn't make sense, because she's defiant. And the more she's defiant, the greater the gift. Because I can show her how much I really love her, because it's much more stronger than the defiance. He said, and then everything changed. And he went back to the car. He's a different person. A different person. It changed the entire dynamic. It was almost like you're on a treadmill, you're in the gym. Your trainer puts you on a treadmill. I don't go on treadmills. Run faster. No. Stop torturing me. Here are heavier weights. No, these weights are not here to torture you. They're here to build muscle. And that's what medidav hagbala means. Medidav hagbala means you're limited. You have walls. I end here, I start here, I end here. You are now trying to puncture my walls. You are trying to penetrate my walls. You are like Nebuchadnezzar. I don't love Nebuchadnezzar, sorry. I don't love people who come into my walls. And I get it. You're breaking down all my walls. I don't want that. Then there's a b'china of prozes teshav Yerushalayim. Right? It says about Mashiach, Yerushalayim is going to be without walls. Prozes teshav Yerushalayim. Yerushalayim doesn't need walls. Yerushalayim needs walls when it's in a very vulnerable space. When it's not vulnerable, when it's not so afraid, it doesn't need that wall. So in this case, when this father broke down completely and began sobbing, he also became a keli for a different type of experience. Suddenly, he wasn't dependent on his daughter. His daughter was not the source of his dignity. What's the issue? The issue is, your defiance proves to me that I'm a failure. Like you said before, you're not giving me nachas. What a miserable father I am. What a horrible husband I am. What a horrible Jew I am. What a failure. And as he puts it, he was living in Lakewood, and he was a chashuv yid, and he was in Koilel, and a ben Torah, and this, and it was like the worst, like this is so embarrassing. Like my whole life I dedicated to something. You dedicate your life to Torah and raise your children, and you have nachas, and suddenly you destroyed everything. Of course, like it makes so much sense. Like we have to have empathy for this. You have to have empathy for the father who cannot get out of this place. He's not doing it from bad. People don't understand. We can't judge it. It's because actually he's doing it from a place of love. In his own way, he's actually trying to be very loving. He was trying to be nice. He wasn't a cruel, sinister, self-centered father who just doesn't care about his daughter. He cares about his daughter. But he cares about his daughter from his own experience. Right? That's what's very important there. He cares about his daughter. You're not talking about a monster, an abuser, I'm a sugar, a sick father. You're not talking about that. You're talking about a good person who dedicated their whole life for this. But I care about my daughter from my own paradigm, from my own perspective. It's a very subtle thing. And therefore I need her as much as she needs me. I need her to justify that. I need her to validate that. And she did the exact opposite. So he tells God, I can't do this anymore. God said, you know what? You don't have to do it anymore. Let me do it. That's when your life changes. God said to Shimon, you don't have to do it anymore. It's fine. I'll do it. Let go. Let go. You don't own anything. It's fine. Let me do it. So what's my job? Your job is just to be a channel. Just show up as a channel. I'll do everything. I'll love her. I'll take care of her. I'll be here for her. You don't have to do anything. I'll love you too. Wow. Then you're reborn. You become a reborn person. It's all experiential. You can't do this with a lecture. It doesn't work. You can't crack the ego through a lecture. It doesn't work that way. It's more words, more. This is not a game. It's like, stop doing this. He was trying to do, he's trying to control. Again, from a very good space. I'm trying to control to be able to have a normal family and have a good girl. I want her to have a good life for her. I'm not a selfish. I want her to have a good life. I don't want her to end up in the abyss, right? They're talking about normal fathers here, normal mothers. But it's all b'medida v'hagbala. And this shift is a very big shift. It's a shift from finiteness to infinity. The leap from finiteness to infinity is a pretty big leap. It's called an infinite leap. It's a big leap. It's a very big leap. It's a quantum leap, they call it. A quantum leap means I'm not just jumping a few feet. I'm not even jumping 200 feet. I'm not even jumping from here, to a very, very high space, as difficult as that is. It's a different type of leap. It's a leap between Metzius to not Metzius. So this is a different type of love. Now, of course, this liberated him. It didn't only liberate her. First of all, it liberated her. She got a father. Now, she didn't have a father. She had a father that she could control based on her defiance. If she was nice, she had a father. If she was defiant, she didn't have a father. Now she had a father.
How did you manifest it in her? I would love to understand personally how it changed her.
Oh, the kids pick this up within 2 seconds. Your kids pick this up like not within a split second they pick it up. They know right away. They know right away if there's a man here who's a real man, or no, there's just a little guy who's completely vulnerable to my emotions today. They feel exactly where you are. Your kids know, they have Ruach HaKodesh, they have Nevuah, they have everything. They feel your subconscious before you. Before you, they feel everything. They know right away. You'll see the energy that they give back. Before you know, they know it. Yeah, when you turn the handle already, they know your mood. Yeah, exactly. It's true. No, you think about your parents, right? Do you know where your mother, your mother's moods, your father's moods? We know everything. We feel it. We know right away. But I know when my mother was upset, not upset. What, she had to tell me. You feel, a kid feels everything. A child is from the etzem of the father and mother. You sometimes children feel their parents more than the parents feel themselves. Because parents sometimes because they don't have the cover up. I'll cover up what I'm feeling for whatever cheshbon, but they're not covering it up, so they know right away. Story with Reb Shimon, his daughter's behavior was the proof that he's a good father. I need my daughter to make me feel good. That's not a father. A father is, you don't need your daughter. You don't need your daughter. It's not easy for people to understand. What do you mean I don't need my daughter? What do you mean? But that's what a real parent is. That's also what a real husband is. It becomes paradoxical because when you stop needing, you actually get much more. You understand? When you can let go of all these needs, you actually can get much more. But it has to be lishma. Like, I'm not letting go so that you could fix yourself, so that you could give me nachas. Like, I love my child unconditionally so that they could see that I don't need them, so that I really love them, so then they'll come back tomorrow. You know what I mean? Like, boom. And they know it so fast. So you really have to let go. You really have to go outside of Medidav Hagbolah. Yeah, and it all comes to the same point. If I'm in a place of Medidav Hagbolah, I am limited, and therefore there's certain interactions that are very, very important. I need you to feed that in a certain way. And you're doing very well. And when you stop doing well for me, I'm done. It's a very subtle thing, this. You understand? It's extremely authentic. Everybody knows this right away. And it's also true with husbands and wives. What does it mean a husband is a mashpia? We say, well, a woman is a husband is a mashpia. You know, we use words. The husband gives, and the woman takes. Really, the woman gives nothing, and the husband doesn't take. Really? You know such husbands? They only give, they never take, and women who only take and never give. Really? I mean, fine. If you have such a husband and wife, fine. I want to meet them. He only gives, she only takes. Really? I mean, just carrying a baby for 9 months is pretty much giving, right? And giving birth and raising them and nursing them. What's this idea? It's a very subtle idea. Mashpia is an internal space of identity. A man fully becomes a man when he's not needing, when he's in a full state of mashpia. And you can only find that if you find your infinity, where you're a real mashpia, like what that daughter needed. Your defiance is not going to define my love. My love is much stronger than your defiance. It's in a very, very internal state of you could be fully present, but this takes a lot of inner work. And the moment the woman feels that in a very deep way, it changes everything. It changes the dynamic. As long as the woman feels that he's a makabel from me, she could never, ever be a real wife. She could never be a real wife. She's like a shtickle mother. And a lot of men want that. They want mothers. They don't want wives. They're looking to repair their relationships with their mothers through their wives. And the women feel it subconsciously right away. Now, it's not so easy to be a makabel either. It's not so easy to be a makabel. Being a makabel is very serious. Being a makabel means I let go of everything to be a makabel. That's also very scary. It's hard today for women to be makabelim, just like it's hard for men to be mashpiyim. The women think they have to be mashpiyim. I have to have a place where I'm not makabel, because maybe you're gonna, I don't know if you're gonna play games. I should just be open. Why should I be open? What if there's a sword gonna come? What if disappointment, rejection? So we're talking about very deep dynamics in a person, but it all comes down to this point. Only when I go out of the sheltered place of Medidav Hagbolah can I open myself up to an experience of love that does not need the other person's behavior in a certain way to be able to deserve it. And it's hard for people to understand this. Like sometimes, I talk about these things a lot, to myself also, not just to others. And, fathers and mothers will often say, what do you want? I don't understand. Like, what are you talking about? I want it for my kids' sake, not for my sake. Of course I'm disappointed, for their sake. You understand? Because it's very subtle. I want them to have good lives. I'm not selfish. And they don't realize, and we know what a good life is. Look how good our marriage is. I'll tell you another gewaldige story that Shimon once said at a Kasha Nafshi. He's really a role model in this for a lot of people, I'm just saying. He said it was Friday night. He was miserable, anxious, overwhelmed, upset, angry. And finally, it was time to finish and go to sleep, you know. There's always a bed to escape to. That's always an Ori Miklat. So he benches, he finishes benching, and he's the way upstairs. He's going up. He said as he's going up in the hallway, his daughter decides to come out of her Ori Miklat. And they walk by. And he doesn't want to be confrontational because he's a good father. He's a nice father, so he doesn't say anything he's feeling, as though your kids don't know, but he doesn't say a thing. He's just going to go. And he says, she looked at him and she said, Tati, this Judaism thing that you're into doesn't seem to be working for you. You seem so miserable. So this whole God, Shabbos, Judaism thing doesn't seem to be working for you. And she walked weiter. And he said these words. He said at that moment, she made him a Bal Tshuva. Because Shabbos was the most miserable day. So basically, this God that he believes in is completely dependent on how his kids are going to show up to the table. So the whole Shabbos, the whole God, the whole Torah was out the window because his kids were not doing this miras with him. She made him a Bal Tshuva. She said, do you have a relationship with God or no? It's all based on how the family looks. And when the family doesn't play the part, there's no God anymore. Wow, your Shabbos is midnight. I thought Shabbos is a holy, beautiful day. Why aren't you tuning into that whole... I mean, she didn't give this whole drasha. You know, kids don't have to give the drasha. She just said it. This Judaism thing that you're so into doesn't seem to be working out for you, right? And he went to his bed and he said he started to cry and he realized, it's not working out for me. Shabbos is not working out. God is not working out. Judaism is not working out. It's actually a recipe for misery. And then he had to ask himself, what is Judaism? What is Shabbos? What is God? Is it to create a beautiful family that everybody says, psst, 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 get the kinder, get the kinder, get the kinder. Ooh, get the kinder. All the Shatchanim from Borough Park and Tom's River are knocking on your door first. Get the kinder. If that's Judaism, yes, it's really not working out for him. And she told me, he said that moment he became a Bal Tshuva. At age 40, 50, whatever it is, I guess around age 40, he became a Bal Tshuva at that moment. His daughter made him a Bal Tshuva. Right? What was the Vart? It's exactly the same thing. He was doing everything right. He was trying to keep Shabbos. He was trying to do, it's an avla to have Zmiris on Shabbos. I'm telling you, what's an avla? The hope of a parent to have a beautiful Shabbos table with beautiful children, singing together, schmoozing together, laughing together, eating ice cream together. There's something very, very powerful about that, right? But what is it? It's all b'medidah v'hagbala. It's all b'medidah v'hagbala. It's good for me. I want it. I need it. And she allowed him to crack open. What says crack open? Crack open means actually ask not what your children can do for you, but ask what you can do for your children. Ask not what God can do for you, but ask what you can do for God and for his world. It's a different question. Really, why should I ask that? No, I want to know what you could do for me. Depends who I am. If I'm a Medidah V'Hagbala, the only question is what can you do for me? What everybody can do for me, including God. Was is good, was will, and was darf. What's good for him, what he wants, what he needs. Of course. And if you could provide it, God, I'm yours. And since you could provide it, because you're Hashem, you created the world, so I believe it. Yeah, you could provide it, I'm here. But but what happens is when Shabbos doesn't look that way, it's a miserable Shabbos. It's not a miserable Shabbos. Why? Because I'm not internally. I did not discover my own internal relationship that transcends any form of self, that transcends any form of ego.
This class is brought to you by theyeshiva.net. Please help us continue the classes. Make even a small contribution at www.theyeshiva.net/donate.